I do want to recognize Beth Hyland.
From intimate moments to the halls of Congress.
She is a survivor of this heinous crime. She drove 9 hours to be here.
It's not exactly the path Beth Hyland saw herself taking. She got divorced in 2019. 4 years later, she thought,
Maybe it was time to start dating again. So I thought I'd try it.
Beth never used dating apps before. But two people at work met their significant others online.
And then one day in October, I matched with a man that I found incredibly attractive, and his profile was similar to mine.
You thought you were in love?
I thought I was in love. We were going to get married. I was looking at houses. I was sending him engagement rings.
But this man in the photo wasn't actually who Beth was chatting with. She just didn't know it at the time. Then, after several weeks, he suddenly had a problem.
He asked if I would try to transfer the money, if I would log in, and I did.
Pretty soon, Beth took out loans for $26,000 and transferred the money using Bitcoin.
I mean, why wouldn't I help my fiance if I knew the money was coming back?
But the money never came back. So Beth went to her financial advisor.
Fortunately, he's trained in romance fraud. And I said, he's like, Beth, I hate to be the one to tell you this. I think you're in a romance scam. The first thing I said is, I am so embarrassed. And he's the one that said, don't be. You would be surprised at how much this happens.
It happens so often that it's finally getting the attention of the federal government. And that's what brings Beth to Washington.
People reached out to me to say, please look at this. This is what happened to my relative.
A bipartisan bill would require dating apps and social media companies to issue notifications to users who interact with accounts that have been banned or flagged for fraud. Government agencies issuing bulletins warning Americans, specifically seniors. The FBI saying it's cost victims billions of dollars over the years. And so much goes unreported.
I still get together with my family and we go, did that really happen?
April Helm's life purpose now is unlike what she ever imagined.
On this episode of Scammer Stories,
The Tulsa-based journalist started a podcast dedicated to victims of scams.
a quick update on where I stand on my good days and bad days after my mom's scam.
There's two versions of my mother. The version of my mother from before the scam was loving, my best friend. After the scam, I was a horrible daughter.
Her mother, a widowed cancer survivor, fell in love online.
She got a picture from a young man about 40 years old, really attractive, and she said she met someone online, and I could tell that it was a scam instantly.
April even did a reverse image search, and it came up as a commonly used image scammers use. But her mom didn't believe her.
She put her hands on her head and said, "Don't burst my bubble, don't burst my bubble." I said, "Please, just don't spend any money." She said, "No, that's your kid's money. I would never do that."
But in the end, she says her 70-year-old mother was scammed out of more than $350,000. She lost her home, her car, and eventually her life after falling out of bed.
Scammers try to keep you delirious. You're not thinking clearly and you make bad decisions.
And now, with emerging AI technology making it even harder to catch scammers, what can the government actually do?
America's behind in taking care of our own people.
April is skeptical, but hopeful that with more exposure, the country can break up with romance scams for good. Julie Tsirkin, NBC News.
Wow, that is just so awful. Like, you think, like, all scams are bad.
Right.
But that just feels like, come on.
And preying on seniors in particular, who too often a target's a good reminder to all of us to look out for those we love.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes, and especially when we can spot it so easily.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.